Once again we are here for the assessment of now respiratory system, as we have covered the neck portion. So now we are going for the respiratory system. Okay, so as you all know that respiratory system is very important system, as we have to go for the lung sounds, and later on we have to again start for the cardiovascular system here only. Okay, so in the bare chest we have to look for any kind of deformity. We have to inspect whether the structure of the chest is normal, whether the symmetry of the chest is normal in the anterior portion and the posterior portion as seen only. Okay, so can you come here once? Okay, so as you can see here that we have to make the patient either in the supine position, or we can also check the patient in the a sitting position also. Okay, so you can see the symmetry of the thorax. Okay, so it should be symmetrical with the abdomen, it should be equal to the patient's body. Okay, now as you can see this chest PAC first here, that we are having half of the anterior posterior diameter and little bit double of the transverse diameter. That means the transverse diameter is little bit higher, and anterior posterior diameter is half. So that means anterior posterior and transverse diameter is 1:2. Okay, so whenever we are assessing the chest deformities, so we should look for the diameters. Okay, as I have already told you about some barrel chest in which your anterior posterior diameter is also increased. That means in that it will be 1:1. Okay, or there is some other chest like a pigeon chest, or there is some other funnel chest in which the sternal angle will go inside or it is depressed. Okay, so all these different sizes of the chest we should see in the patient, and whether the a patient's angle of Louis, as I already told you, angle of Louis is made between the manubrium of the sternum and the body of the sternum. Okay, this is the you can say manubrium of the sternum, and this is the body of the sternum. So it is between the junction. So from here only you are going to inspect your intercostal spaces. Okay, so you have to remember just nearby this manubrium you are going to see your first intercostal you are going to see your first you can say rib, and then you will be having first intercostal space, then second intercostal space, then third, then fourth, then fifth, then sixth. Okay, up to sixth we are having the lobes of the lungs. Okay, so I will be explaining you a little bit anatomy about the lungs also, that we are having two lungs, right? We are having the right side of the lung, we are having the left side of the lung, right? So right side of the lung is having three lobes, that is the upper, middle and lower, right? And then in the left side it is having the two lobes, that is the upper and the lower one. Okay, and meanwhile we are having the two fissures. Okay, horizontal and the vertical fissure, the oblique fissure, and in the left side you are only having the oblique fissure, which is dividing the lungs. Okay, that you have to look for, and you should know that the symmetry of the lung should be normal, as I already informed you, and you have inspected for any kind of lesion. You have seen any wound is not there, any kind of abnormal bulge is not there. Okay, so that means you have seen everything, whether the size of the a respiratory this chest region is increased, whether you're able to see some thick bony growth in this area. So if nothing is all there, so now you are going to palpate for the abnormal tenderness. So you are going to palpate this chest region like this, so that you are feeling any kind of tenderness in this area. You can cover all the chest part like this. Okay, it's not the a detailed palpation I'm telling you, I'm just telling you superficial pain, tenderness or abnormal mass is there or not, that you have to see for. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is your costovertebral angle, okay, which should be normal, and if it is increased, that means there is some kind of COPD, a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or some other diseases which is making your costovertebral angle whether increase or whether decrease. Okay, it should be normal. Then you are going to palpate all the chest region, and you have to ask whether you are feeling any pain or not. Okay, so like that you are going to ask. Okay, then now if you have to you have assessed the anterior chest like this only, so you will go for the posterior chest. Now you come here. Okay, so when you have to go for the posterior chest, so you will be able to see the patient like this. Okay, so now can you take deep breath? Deep breath. Okay, so when the patient is taking deep breath, you have to analyze that when the patient is taking breath, whether the whole a chest is moving and coming down or not. Okay, whether it should not be like this, one side of the part is moving and one side is like this only. Can you deep breathe? Okay, so you can see with the symmetry it is going up and down. Okay, so you have to assess or analyze it, that whether there is no kind of abnormal mass in this area. So you can also palpate it like this only. Okay, whether you are feeling any pain. Okay, so once you are palpating this area, so you will be able to know there is no abnormal mass, there is no kind of lesion. Okay, so now what you have to see for? You have to see the spine of the patient should be in the middle line. Okay, it should not be deviated here and there, because you all know there are some like deformities related to spine also, like scoliosis, in which S-like a curve is made. Okay, and there is some lordosis in the back part of the you can say lumbar region is little bit extended outside. Okay, or scoliosis or lordosis. Okay, so that you have to see the spine should be in the center, it should be in the symmetry. Okay, then you are having the scapulary region, right? Can you bend like this? Okay, so you can see the scapulary region, the bony prominence. So you have to see these, both the scapulas should be in front of each other. Okay, it's not like that one scapula is above, one scapula is down. Okay, that also you have to inspect, it is in the symmetry. Okay, then once you are going to inspect the posterior, you can say chest like this. So now we are going to assess the posterior thorax of the patient number first. Okay, so now you have to be very attentive during this class. So number first, we have already inspected the posterior area. So now we are going to check the expansion of the you can say thorax when the patient is taking deep breath. Okay, so you have to see that you have to place your hands like this. Okay, that means you have to take your thumbs and you have to keep it just nearby. You have to imagine that this is your sternal region in the front. Okay, you can see this is the sternal and this is the sternal region of backside. Okay, so you have to keep your thumbs like this from both sides. And you have to keep your fingers stretched like this. Okay, so we are checking here the respiratory excursion. As I told you, what is excursion? Excursion means we are going to check the expansion of the thorax while the patient is taking deep breath. Okay, so I'm going to keep my thumbs like this, and now I'll say the patient to take the deep breath. Can you take the deep breath? Deep breath. No, you're not taking deep breath. Once again. Now release. Okay, so can you see the difference in my thumb? You can see here. Now take deep breath very fast. Okay, so like this, my thumb should go outside and my thumb should come backside. Okay, once again you take. Now expand. Okay, so like this, my thumbs should be little bit extended, and then it should be in the same place. That means what I'm trying to show here, I'm showing you here that with the respiration, my thumbs will go like this and it will come like this. Okay, but if in the patient I'm assessing and these thumbs are one side it is moving and one side it is like this only, that is quite abnormal. And if both the lungs are not moving, so that means it is quite abnormal. The patient is not able to take the breath. So what I told you here, that respiration you are going to take when you're expanding the thorax, my thumb should go like this. Okay, that means little bit away it should go. Okay, so if the patient's thumbs are moving if the nurse hand is moving equally and it is coming back, so that means the patient's expansion of the thorax is perfectly fine. So what we did this, we have inspected the respiratory excursion on the patient. Okay, so after that what we are going to do now we are going for the palpation. Okay, so what we have to palpate in this PAC first year, that any kind of fluid or any kind of air, if excessively in the other parts, if it is present, or in the space of the lungs, if you are able to feel any dullness, as I already told you that the normal sound which you should hear is the resonance. What is resonance? Resonance is the normal sound of the lung, which means that air is present and that resonance you are able to hear. But if in the place of lungs, if you are able to feel any dullness, that means that there is some fluid present. Okay, or there is some kind of you can say excessive fluid present. Due to that you are able to feel the dullness. Okay, so before the percussion, I want to tell you one more thing, that we have to assess the tactile fremitus also. Okay, what is tactile or vocal fremitus? Tactile means I am going to make some touch on the patient and I am going to tell the patient to say something. Then I will be seeing the vibrations on the patient, that whether those vibrations which is coming from the vocal cord, so whether they are they are getting all over the thorax or somewhere it is not taking. Why? Because if there is some obstruction or there is some air excess of the fluid is accumulated, so there will be some vibrations which will not be distributed in the part of the lungs. Okay, so how I'm going to do that? So now I'm going to say the patient, that patient has to take the deep breath. Okay, so like after in between taking the breath, I will be saying the patient to take say the 99. Okay, so I'm going to place my hand like this. You have to see the location also. Okay, that means I should cover the all the lobes of the lungs. Okay, then and you say I'm going to keep my this hand whether palm area or whether the ball area of my wrist. Okay, whether I can keep this or whether I can keep this. Okay, so can you say 99 to me? Okay, take deep breath and say
99.
Okay.
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 99.
Okay. So that means up to here, up to the 6th rib of the patient, that means 6th intercostal space, we have to cover the all lung part of the patient. Okay, so what I did, I have given some sense a sensory a part, I have touched the patient and I am making the patient to have some vibrations. So those vibrations has to spread all over the thorax so that we can hear that. Okay, as we have already covered that in the class, only the patient has to say some things like moon, 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 like these words are saying some vibrations. Okay, so when the patient is saying like this, can you say moon? Okay. Okay, so like this we have to cover all the a thorax region of the patient in the posterior region so that we can see, and we have to compare it in both sides. Why I am doing you left and right, so that all the sound or vibrations I'm feeling here, it should be same in this area also. That means the air distribution in the lungs is normal. Example, if I'm feeling the sound here, okay, that means it's resonance. Okay, it's normal. But if in the other side I am not able to hear any vibration, or if there is lot of vibrations I'm feeling, that means there is some fluid collection, or there is some compression in the respiratory system. That means some pneumonia. Okay, in that condition we will be having some abnormal a tactile fremitus. Okay, that we have to remember, right? Then after that we will be starting the percussion. So as I told you, from where we have to start the percussion, all of you know, we are going to take our hand and we are going to tap it. Why we are going to do the percussion? Again, we are going to know about that whether there is some fluid present or some air resonance. Okay, so as I told you one day when we have discussed in the class that what is the organs which will be having the you can say dullness. As I told you that in the lung area, in the you can say liver area, we will be having the dullness. But where the respiratory system your thorax region is there, in that you will be able to feel the resonance. So for that we have to feel. Now again we are going to start from the apex of the heart, apex of the thorax. So these are the apex here. Okay, so we are going to spread our hands like this and I'm going to tap my hand like this, one side. Okay, then on the other side, okay, like this. So this is a perfect resonance. Then I need to go down and then here like this. Right? So what I did, I have percussed the patient's posterior chest to know about the you can say resonance, okay, which should be there in this respiratory area. Okay, so one more thing I want to tell you, that if the patient is like this, okay, so that means the scapula will come in between and you will not be able to percuss the patient properly. Why? Because even the bones and muscles can also hinder the sound. So that's why you always have to make the arms like this of the patient in the forward, so that you can expose the you can say lung area, and you're starting from the apex of the lung. So you can see this is the apex, and from here we are starting the percussion. One, then feel it. Yes, you are able to hear only the resonant a sound only here. I hope you are able to hear this sound. So this is your lower lobe. Okay, so when we have started from the apex of the thorax, so this will be your right upper lobe and a left upper lobe. Then we are going to little bit come here when we are palpating it, so it will be again your right upper lobe. Okay, and this will be your left upper lobe. And when as soon as you are reaching your fourth intercostal space, you have to remember that second intercostal space, which should be in between the scapula like this. So here you will be able to feel the right upper and left lower. Okay, and in the third intercostal space also it will be same. It will be upper lobes. Okay, but as soon as when you are reaching the fourth intercostal space like this in the scapula, so okay, so in between this T, a T3 or T4, you will be having your fourth intercostal space, where you will be able to hear the right middle lobe, and here you will be able to feel the left lower lobe, because this is not having any middle lobe, so that's why you are going to reach the lower lobe. Then in the end, when you are reaching up to here, when you are percussing here, so what you are percussing? You are percussing your right lower lobe and the left lower lobe. Okay, so percussion is done in the same pattern from the apex then down in these positions. Okay, so like this you are going to cover all the positions of the, like you can say, lobes of the like a lung. Okay, so that is your percussion. Right, now what you are going to do, BEC first year, as you all know, after the, like you can say, a percussion, we are having what? We are having the after this percussion, we are having the auscultation. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to auscultate the patient's sounds. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to hear the patient's sound when the patient is taking deep breath and releasing. Okay, it should not be like this. We have discussed in the Brutts, as I told you, in the carotid Brutts, what we did, we have taken the deep breath, we have released, and we have holded. No, in this you are not going to hold, because we have to hear the abnormal sounds of the lungs. So how we can hear the abnormal sounds? So by taking the patient, by continuing the patient to take a breathe and release, take, breathe and release. Okay, so usually we used to say it as take deep breath and release, so that we can hear any kind of sound which is coming. Okay, so now what you are going to do, you are going to take the stethoscope and you are going to say the patient to take the breathe and continuously. Okay, and you are going to keep the auscultation or with this this diaphragm of the part, and you are going to keep it again on the apex of the, you can say, thorax. Okay, so once again you are going to keep on the apex of the lungs. Take, breathe. Once more. Okay, you are going to take whole cycle. That means you are going to take the whole cycle. That means inspiration and expiration. Then only you will be able to hear. Okay, otherwise if you are not only you are taking in the inspiration, that means you are not able to cover the full respiration cycle. Right, so once again take it. Okay, that is one cycle. Then on the other side, take deep breath. Okay, so that is the other side. Okay, now you have to go little bit down. Okay, then, okay, so you can see this is your scapular region. Okay, so in between you are having the spine, so you can go in the left and right side, that is your right upper and left upper lobe. Okay, take deep breath. Okay, nice. Then you have to go for little between. If you are going here, so it will be again your right upper lobe. Okay, now you are in between the fourth intercostal space. Take deep breath. Okay, then in the opposite side, same. In the fourth intercostal space, you will be able to hear the right lower lobe. Okay, this is the right middle lobe and this is the left lower lobe. Okay, take deep breath. Okay, then now here you are reaching your, you can say, lower lobe, so you can hear it in this side also. This is your right, a left lower lobe, and this will be your right lower lobe. Take deep breath. Okay, and this will be your left lower lobe. Okay, so that means in the whole cycle what you did from the apex of the lungs, you started from the upper part and you have measured that in between the scapula, you are having the spine, and where your scapular region is there, that will be your second intercostal space, where you will be able to hear the right upper lobe and left upper lobe. Okay, and in the third intercostal space also same, you can be hearing the right upper lobe and left upper lobe. And then as soon as you are reaching the fourth intercostal space, so in that you are going to reach your next one, that is your right middle lobe, and in the other side it is right lower lobe. Why? Because in the left side you are having 2 lobes only, and in the right you are having 3. So that's why in the fourth intercostal space it is your middle lobe. Okay, then as soon as you are reaching in the sides, you can take from this side also, that is your right lower lobe, and you can divide this portion like this. So this is your left lower lobe. Okay, and you can take when you are going to assess your anterior chest, that time also you can divide like this. Okay, so you will be able to hear your left lower lobe and right lower lobe. Okay, so that's how you are going to do the auscultation of the, you can say, chest. Okay, so after that what we are going to do, we have assessed everything. So now same things we will be going to do in the posterior chest. Okay, so in the anterior chest we will be repeating in the next video, that will be part 2. Okay, so if you have any doubt till now, you can refer it to me. Okay, thank you.